what is the origin of fear? Whether the mind, psychological state, can ever be free totally, completely from fear. Not say it is possible or it's not possible. If you say both, either one or the other, that conditions your own state of inquiry. But if there is the intelligent demand, whether the mind, whether a human being, his psyche, his consciousness, can ever be free completely, not partially. Not one day be free of fear, the next day full of fear. But the entire movement of fear, conscious as well as deeply rooted fear, whether it's possible for the human mind to be utterly free of it. Because fear is one of the factors of disorder. Not only desire, but also fear. Most human beings are afraid, either physical fears and psychological, complicated fears. Fears of not fulfilling, fears of not becoming, fears of in their relationship, fears of not having jobs, especially now in this country there are 10 million people unemployed. Fear of darkness, fear of death, fear of the very act of living. There's so many, many forms of fear. And naturally, as one observes fear, the state of fear, as one goes into it, you can see how fear creates disorder. Fear of being secure and not being secure. Fear of the past, fear of the present, fear of the future. Which we all know. Most of us have experienced some kind of fear or not. Urgently, very deeply, or superficially. When one is afraid, the whole psychological state becomes thickened, strained. You know that. And where there is fear, there is darkness and escape from that darkness. Then the escape becomes far more important than the fear itself. But fear always remains. So one asks why human beings who have lived on this earth for millions of years, who are technologically intelligent, why they have not applied their intelligence to be free from this very complex problem of fear. That may be one of the reasons for war, for killing each other. And religions throughout the world have not solved the problem. Neither gurus nor the saviors nor ideals. So it's very clear. No outside agency, however elevated, however made popular by propaganda, no outside agency can ever possibly solve this problem of human fear. So we must find out. Again, if one may repeat, you are inquiring, you are investigating, you are delving into the whole problem of fear. Speaker may not only explain, but the explanation has no value unless you yourself go in deeply into this question. And perhaps we have so accepted the pattern of fear that we don't want even to move away from it. So, what is fear? What are the contributory factors that bring about fear? Like many small streams, rivulets that make the tremendous volume of a river. So what are the small streams that bring about fear, that have such tremendous vitality of fear? Comparing oneself with somebody else, psychologically. Obviously it is. So, can one live a life without comparing yourself with nobody? You understand what I mean? When you compare yourself with another, ideologically, psychologically, or even physically, there is the striving to become that, and there is the fear that you may not. There is the desire to fulfill, and you may not be able to fulfill. You understand? Where there is comparison, there must be fear. And so one inquires, asks, whether it is possible to live without a single comparison. Never comparing. Whether you are beautiful or ugly, fair or not fair, physically, psychologically, approximating yourself to some ideal, to some pattern of values. There is this constant comparison going on. We are asking, is that one of the causes of fear? Obviously. And where there is comparison, there must be conformity. There must be imitation inwardly. So we are asking, is comparison, conformity, imitation, are they contributory causes of fear? And when can one live without comparing, imitating, conforming? Psychologically, obviously one can. If those are the contributory factors of fear, and you are concerned with the ending of fear, then inwardly there is no comparison, which means there is no becoming. Comparison entails, the very meaning of the comparison is to become that which you think is better or higher, nobler, and so on. So, comparison, imitation, conformity, which is becoming, is that one of the factors, or the factors of fear? We are not saying it is, but you have to discover it for yourself. Then, if those are the factors, then if the mind is seeing those factors as bringing about fear, the very perception of those ends the contribution